Hello everyone, welcome back to SteamCode. In this video we're going to be going over background scripts in Chrome extension development. So first let's define what they are. So background scripts are scripts that, instead of the content script that is able to directly access the web page that we're using, the background script is a part of the Chrome browser as a whole. And so it allows you to do things such as adding context menus, adding functionality to buttons, adding events or adding event listeners to respond to things that the browser does, such as opening up a new web page or creating a browser or countless other things that the Chrome API has allowed us to do. So inside of manifest.json, how do we actually create a background script or specify a background script for our extension? So what we need here is this background key, and inside of it we have service worker and background.js. Now this is really all we need. Just this is the syntax, background service worker, and then the name of your file, and this is in the same directory as everything else, so I don't need to specify any directories as well. And so now that we've looked at this in the manifest.json file, let's head directly into background.js so we can see directly how they work. So inside of background.js, the first thing we're doing is specifying when the script is loaded. So background scripts, or service workers as they're called now in manifest version 3, are loaded when they're needed and unloaded once they go idle. And so some examples of when you might load a background script are, as you see here, once it's installed onto Chrome. Also once it's listening to an event, and so say a user opens up a new tab, then now this background script is loaded. A content script sends a message, and we'll go over messages later in the video, but a content script might send a message and then the background script is loaded. So there are many different contexts where background scripts might be installed, but this is usually the one you're going to see the most, and it's the one that's most applicable to just a general tutorial. So the first thing we need to go over is logging to the console. So whereas in content scripts we logged directly to the console, as you see here, if we reload this, or let's reload this actually, let's look at the console. As you see, there's nothing inside of it, but I said here console.log, this is coming from the background script. Now the reason that is because the background script is not able to directly access the document. So whereas in the content script you're able to actively debug it here in the JavaScript console, with the background script what you need to do is go to your extensions page, then click on the service worker, and then here's the console, here's the debug console for the background script. So if we were to reload this, then open up the service worker, then as you can see here, this message that we made earlier, this is coming from the background script, appears now. And so that's just something you need to keep in mind. So once you're making your extensions, you need to know whether things are logging to this console or to the console that's on the actual web page, to clear up some confusion. Okay, so next let's get into just a basic thing such as creating a context menu. So context menus, we've created them in earlier videos, but in this video this is just something that you can, there are many different things you can make, and context menus are one of them. So here's the general syntax for creating a context menu: chrome.contextmenus.create, and then we specify the ID, the title, the type, and the context that it appears on. I'm not going to be going too much in depth with this in this video because we've done this in previous videos, but here's just the general syntax for that. And then if we open up our Chrome browser, if we select on a word, because that's the context that the context menu will appear on, and we right click, as you can see the text, hey this is a text context menu that we have here for the title, appears. And then we can also add a listener to it. So if you see here, we added a listener. We'll go over the message listener in just a second, but let's look at the bookmark listener. So background scripts are really good at creating listener at handling events that happen within the Chrome scope or within the Chrome browser. And these are things that content menus simply can't handle, because content menus are limited within the scope of the actual document. So here's an example of one of those. So I have here chrome.bookmarks.onCreated.addListener, and then we have the function console.log a bookmark was created. So what this does here is, once we create a bookmark, then it will log to the console a bookmark was created. So first, let's open up the console. Okay, so we have the console open, and then now let's create a bookmark. So I'll just press Control D, open a bookmark, done. And as we see here, now it's logged to the console a bookmark was created. And just to reiterate, if we go to this console, there's nothing in here because background scripts cannot directly access this console. And so now let's take a look at, okay, so say you want to say you want to access the actual document, but you need to respond to an event that only the background script can respond to. The way that Chrome has handled this is by setting up messages. So you can send a message from the background script to the content script, so that the content script is able to handle what it needs to handle. So here we have chrome.contextmenus.onClick.addListener. So once we click on the context menu, then here is the code for sending a message. I won't go too deep into the syntax for this, but all you need to know is that the syntax for this specifies that it will send a message to the current document that's open, or to the current tab that's open. So you might have a bunch of tabs open. This will send the message to the tab that's currently open. So here we specify the message, constant message equals a new page has been created, and then chrome.tabs.send message, tabs ID message. So if we want to actually handle that message and respond to the content that's within it, then we need to head into our content script, so content.js, and here's a syntax for that. So chrome.runtime.onMessage.addListener. Then we have this function, the request, the sender, and the send response. The request is the message that was sent from the background script. The sender is the sender of that message. And the send response is used once you want to send a message back. So all we're doing here is logging the request, or logging the message that was sent. And as we see here, the message was a new page that's been created. So let's test that out and let's see how that works. So let's reload this page. So if we double click on a word, or as you'll see, if we just right click without selecting on anything, the context menu does not appear because that's not one of the contexts that it appears on. So let's select on a word, right click. Now let's click on this context menu, and as you can see, a message was sent directly to the content script, and the content script logged that to the console. So it says here, a message, a new page has been created. So say we wanted to log this to the console with background.js, we could say Chrome or console.log message. Now if we reload this and reload the extension, now that's the message that was sent from the content script, but we need to check the other, and as you can see, a new page has been created. Alright, so we basically just covered message passing, some very basic surface level things that you need to know for when you're creating background scripts for your own Chrome extensions. And we'll go over some more in-depth things with these concepts that we've explored within the past few videos, and start creating bigger projects with them in the future as well. So I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you learned anything, if you gained enjoyment from this video, and check out our GitHub, check out our Patreon. There's some pretty cool stuff on both platforms. The GitHub has an archive of a lot of the stuff, a lot of the videos that we've made in the past. And the Patreon, you can check that out. It has polls, it has exclusive videos and whatnot. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And this has been SteamCode. I'll see you next time.